What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Celly, powered by FTN Bets, right here on Game Plus Network, presented by PointsBet Canada. Chris Meaney here with you. We have Eric Young in the house, and we are pleased to bring in special guest Jo from Jo Madden Sports, at Jo Madden Sports on the Twitter machine. Jo, welcome in. Thanks for taking the time to join us here today.
Thanks for having me here. I'm excited to talk some hockey with you guys.
Yes, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to talk hockey. We are going to recap last night's action. One game, we saw, 2 goals in regulation. We needed overtime to get to a third. And the other game, we saw an absolute beatdown, a lot of action, 15 goals between the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. The second straight game, the Flames put up a 9 spot on Edmonton. Actually, the second most goals in a playoff game. Or the fifth most, rather, in a playoff game. We saw 18 in 1981 and 82 between the Oilers and the LA Kings in that one. Eric, we'll throw to you here first, dude. How you feeling? How you doing? We missed you on Tuesday. I guess the Leafs loss last week was just too much for you to handle.
Yeah, it was an emotional bereavement day. If you can't tell, my voice is crazy. And I don't always sound this bad, but pretty close. So the hockey's been awesome, though, man. The hockey's been awesome.
It has been awesome. I think you sound beautiful, dude. Welcome,
beautiful.
You really do. A friendly reminder that you can listen to this show on iTunes, Spotify, wherever it is that you listen to your favorite podcasts. Of course, live here at FTN Network on our YouTube page. We ask you to smash the like button. If you have any comments, any questions, now is the time to get to them, especially with Jo here with us for the next 20 minutes or so. We're going to break down tonight's action in the NHL. And of course, we are live on Game Plus Network on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 Eastern. Always a great lineup over at Game Plus Network. We see some people in the house. Adam Renkamp here. We do appreciate you hanging out with us here, dude. We'll throw to you first, Jo. You're a Calgary girl. I'm just learning this. You're from the area. Yeah. You follow the Flames. You got a big smile on your face. It looked like you had a nice little night last night watching Calgary beat Edmonton up and down the ice.
Definitely did. What a fantastic win for Calgary. Now, they do need to make some adjustments going into game 2, but to get this first win under their belt, scoring 2 goals in 51 seconds, I tell you, sitting there watching it, the second goal, I was like, I thought they were playing a replay at first. And then I was like, no, that's not a replay. That's a second goal. It was just crazy. The city is just electrified here.
Oh, I was talking to you a little bit in the green room before we got on. And I spent some time in Calgary in 2004 when they went on the run against the Lightning, and it was the Red Mile. And then a couple of years later, White Ave and Edmonton when they went on their run too. Not going to lie, the excitement, it was off the charts in Calgary. Like, I get it. It's a really good fan base in Edmonton too, but it just felt different in Calgary. And you said there's some excitement there right now. There seems to be a buzz in the city. And I'm sure you had to sweat it out a little bit in round 1. But this, to me, last night, can't expect 9 goals every night, but that's the Flames team that, we've grown to love this year.
Yeah, absolutely. They just come out so strong. Just that attack that they're getting on the net. Mike Smith was yanked after that third goal. It was great to see for Calgary. We needed that. We need to rough them up in this first game, make them guess themselves coming into the second. So I love exactly what I saw out of them last night. I did see an interview with some of the players saying they think it's their worst performance because they let let Edmonton catch up. So I do see that. I look for them to tighten up defensively, not allow Edmonton to get those shots on goal for the next game. I do think we see Markstrom have a better game in the second round.
Yeah, EY, that was kind of the big takeaway. The Oilers can score, right? They can keep up with most teams offensively, but an off game for Jacob Markstrom last night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really strange game for Markstrom. He was good in the Dallas series. But look, McDavid he's on another level right now. We saw it in that last game. That last LA game, he just kind of took it into beast mode. That's continuing. Getting 2 goals from Hyman is important for the Oilers. But Calgary, they seem like themselves. Like Jo was saying, there's that swarming attack. Seems like there's 2 Calgary Flames on the puck anytime Edmonton touches it. You can go ahead and inject that kind of game right into my veins. 7 of those, please.
Yeah, I mean, some of the Oilers guys showed up. Evander Kane was invisible. That was kind of disappointing. We were on him yesterday to at least continue to put pucks towards the goal. We did really like that top line in Calgary, Joe, and they've just been so strong all season. But just taking a quick peek at natural stat trick before we move on from this game, it really was, I mean, you look at the score, the box score, and the Flames did dominate, from a goal standpoint, but also the shot attempts at 5-5, 60 for Calgary, just 34 for the Edmonton Oilers. The scoring chances 31-14 in favor of Calgary, and the high danger chances at 5-5, 13-6 in favor of the Flames as well. Did you see Brady Tkachuk in the stands, Joe? The guy had a beer in one hand, 2 beers in the back of his jeans. The guy is just, I mean, he's a party animal. He's ready to rock for his brother.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I'd be rocking the stands if I was watching my brother too. I loved it. I loved seeing all his family there last night.
All right, guys. Do you think that Edmonton bounces back? I'll throw to you first. Are the Oilers in trouble? Leon Draisaitl clearly battling through something. I know a lot of players are, but there's some reports in the warm-ups. He was hardly even moving out there, just kind of stick handling, not really taking a lot of line rushes. So maybe dealing with a knee injury or something like that. Do you feel like Edmonton is in trouble here? It's something that we've talked about a lot all year, Eric, is that we like the Oilers team offensively, but at the end of the day, they just don't really have the goaltending.
Yeah, I don't know if they're in trouble, but I mean, this is a pro Calgary Flames show. Joe's learning that for the first time, but we've been pro Calgary all year. I would have my Calgary bench clearers jersey on, but it smells because I wore it yesterday. And look, Daryl Sutter he's doing a masterful job. The coaching, the comments after saying, I told the team that we needed to score 7 to 10 goals because people said our games are boring. Well, they listened. And like Joe was saying about the one of the intermissions or after the game, they were interviewing Brady Tkachuk, and he said that, it was probably their worst game. I don't know if you can score that many goals and it'd be your worst game, but they obviously defensively were not as responsible as they need to be. I think that changes in game 2. I think Calgary wins this series, but I think Edmonton will push back. The reality is it comes down to what we've been talking about all year is goaltending. Markstrom is not going to let that many goals in again. I believe in him. I do not believe in Mike Smith, and I certainly do not believe in Koskinen.
No, you kind of feel for Mike Smith. Of course, he spent a minute in Calgary. Joe, you're very familiar with him being in Calgary. And then, I lets in the 2 goals in the first minute, which was as much as we saw in the Rangers in the Calgary game in 60 minutes. And then there was a dump in from center, and the place just went absolutely nuts. Like, oh, he made a save. Fantastic stuff. A couple highlights. You mentioned Tkachuk, hat trick last night. He had 8 shots, 9 shot attempts. Johnny Gaudreau also had 9 shot attempts. Andrew Mangiapane also had 9 shot attempts. Johnny Hockey had the 3 apples, and then Elias Lindholm was in on the action as well, had a goal and an assist. But up and down the board, there were 6 Flames that had at least 6 shot attempts. The other one was Blake Coleman, who had 8 and 2 goals, and then Noah Hannafin had 6 shot attempts. He's been fantastic for the Flames over the last couple of months. Joe, before we officially move on from Calgary, how many games do you give Edmonton here to win?
You know what? This is a tough one because I really do think Edmonton will win a couple of these. I really do think they will step up offensively and get something done defensively against the Flames in at least one of these games. I think Calgary has to push it to 6. I think they win in 6.
Yeah, I had 7, but man, the way that they looked last night, it's hard not to feel Calgary moving on in this series. EY, what'd you see from? Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
I was just going to say Edmonton's not going to lay down. These 2 teams have waited 31 years to get to this spot against each other. It's one bounce of the puck in the wrong way, and, Edmonton wins the game. So I really do. I was thinking 7 originally too, but I'm dropping it to 6.
Yeah, the way that they battled back. I mean, if you're an Oilers fan, you have to be encouraged with that. It looked like the game was absolutely over, 5-1 at one point. All of a sudden, they come back and the game is tied, and away you go, like kind of in the third period. They were there. They were right there. EY, what did you see as we switch gears over to the Rangers and the Hurricanes game last night? A very, very different game. The under hit pretty easily last night. The overhit in the Calgary game with 12:50 left in the second period, but not a lot of action in that Edmonton and New York game. What did you see? What are your takeaways from that contest?
It was a tale of 2 stories, right? Like the first half of the game was mostly the Rangers. The Hurricanes did not look like themselves. And Brendan Moore, again, I mean, a masterclass. of coaching. The leadership group on the Hurricanes obviously had some things to say in between the first and the second period, and it turned into a different team. The third period was owned mostly by Carolina. They forced it into overtime. Shesterkin bailed them out a ton, and that's how we all believe that this series would go. But I would say that the Rangers look better than I think a lot of people. Not me. I like the Rangers. They were one of my drunken preseason bets to play for the Stanley Cup. So still hanging on to that. And the reality is, if you got the Vezina Wisner, I think he wins it. I mean, he hasn't won it yet, but I think Shesterkin wins it. If you have him in your crease, you can win any game in the NHL. And they had two really good pickups in Kopp and Vetrano. Vetrano isn't super interested in playing defense, but that's not what they got him for. Kopp is a great player. I think this series is going to go deep, really deep. I believe if I was to bet that the Hurricanes win it, but Rangers are a tricky good team, and I think that they're not getting the respect that they deserve. They're a really good hockey team.
Yeah, they really are. I thought they had a fantastic second period last night. They dominated play, and then I don't know if they sat back, Joe, in the third period, but really Carolina took it to them. There was a moment where Kakko had the empty net, maybe could have put it away with a handful of minutes left, and he missed that. And then, of course, Sebastian Aho. Thibaut Teravainen was placed back on that line with Aho, and I see the comment from Adam Reckamp, Seth Jarvis is going to be hard to stop. He was great last night. He had 8 shot attempts playing on that top line with Aho. And then before you know it, Carolina, as soon as they tied it, I was like, uh-oh. In that barn, in that building, fans are going nuts. It felt like it was pretty much over at that moment. Joe, what were some of your takeaways from that game one?
Yeah, I was really impressed with what we saw out of the New York Rangers to start this game, even going into the second period. I really do agree with you, Eric, here. I think they're undervalued, especially in the market on the books. People don't give them the respect that they really should in this situation. They always play the Carolina Hurricanes tight. I think this one goes all the way to game 7. I'm not counting out the Rangers here. I was surprised with Ian Cole getting that overtime goal for the Carolina Hurricanes. That was impressive. I was actually happy for him, although I wanted the Rangers to win that one, but not someone you would have expected to get that goal.
No, not at all. Is this a trend that's going to continue? Is it that easy to say that Calgary and Edmonton are just going to score tons of goals and we're never going to get 6 again? The total's going to be 7, Joe. And then in this Rangers and Carolina series, under 5.5, maybe juiced up tomorrow and into game 3. But is this a trend that you feel is going to continue in that series? Low scoring?
Yeah, I think so. We look at these defenses for Carolina and the Rangers, and both have fantastic defenses, great goaltending. I don't see this one being a high scoring one. I think we might see people try to put pressure on the over, but I don't see it coming in. I really do think both of these teams need to play a strong defensive game to get the win in this battle.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, let's talk about tonight. From the Battle of Alberta to the Battle of Florida. Joe, we'll start with you. We have the Panthers and the Lightning happening tonight, game 2. Tampa, I don't know, man. Maybe they're in Florida's head. It's possible. They went into Florida without Braden Point. Nikita Kucherov, I think, played his best game of the playoffs. A highlight reel goal there. You see Ekblad on the right. He turned him inside out, sent it over to Corey Perry, and then he had a power play goal as well. There's certainly been some struggles when it comes to the power play for the Panthers, and that's saying it lightly. They have struggled on the power play. Tampa checking in at plus 140 according to PointsBet. High total here at 6.5. How do you see game 2 playing out, Joe, and who do you like in this series?
Yeah, so series-wise, I think this one is a coin flip. I really do. I think the strength on both sides can dominate here. But with the power play, with how badly the Panthers played in game 1 on that power play, I'm looking at the Lightning more now. I think if they get up in this one is done. If they take another win here tonight, I have no faith in the Panthers going into Tampa. I think they might win one of those, but I think then it's done in 4. I just look at what the Tampa Bay Lightning have been doing on that power play, completely dominating. I think both defenses, though, do need to step up. We did see a change in momentum, though, in that first game when Florida got that second goal and it got called back because it hit the netting. I think that just completely changed the whole momentum of the game because the Panthers were driving, they were attacking before that. We saw after that, they just it seemed like they took their foot off the gas.
It really did. And EY, what is happening to this power play? 0 for 21? 0 for
Yeah.
21? Are you kidding me? Like, all the talent that they have on the squad, I don't know if they take Giroux off of the number one unit because they were rolling out like 5 forwards at one time. Ekblad hasn't spent. When you look at the actual 5 guys that they roll out there, they really haven't spent a lot of time together on the power play because Ekblad missed so much time towards the end, and then Giroux was just there, and then when there was no Ekblad, they had Duclair with Reinhart and Huberdeau and Barkov. I don't know if they make, like, what kind of adjustments they need to make, but when I watch them, EY in the power play, it just seems like they're passing it around to each other. They're not getting any shots towards the goal.
Yeah, like you said, it doesn't seem like there's a plan. I mean, they're all super talented players, but in the end, if you were to say, name a team that doesn't have a power play goal in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, Florida would be my last guess. They're loaded, absolutely loaded. The power play was unbelievable all season. They were able to score at will. It seemed at times. This is a pro Florida Panthers show. What was one of our rules during the year? You don't bet against the Florida Panthers, but
Especially not at home.
Until I see something else, man, I don't know. Tampa Bay, it's the reverse Cinderella effect. They did not turn into a pumpkin. They turned back into the Stanley Cup champions. They're the team to beat in the East.
So do you agree with Joe? Like, this is a game they have to have tonight. Go to Tampa down 2-0 is not
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they always, they say, you haven't lost the series until you've lost at home. Well, here we are. They've already lost one game. And if they're down 2-0 and they go back to Tampa, they're in big trouble, man. They're in big trouble. And I think the big thing is there's not a ton of playoff experience. Like, I get that they got Giroux and I get they have Joe Thornton and some players like that, but none of these guys have won. So it'll be really interesting to see the pushback. I will be watching this game that's no surprise to anybody here. I'm going to watch every second of every game because I'm a lunatic. But I want Florida to push back. I want this to be a good series. I think they make it interesting. I think that Florida will win tonight, but they have to have another stellar performance from Bobrovsky. He looked pretty good, but they just couldn't. They could not get one past Vasilevsky.
It's only one game, but it seems a lot like last year how it played out between the two teams.
Yep.
I thought Florida played pretty good at 5-5 last year, didn't get the goaltending, and just kind of lost the series on special teams alone. We've already talked about Florida being 0 for 21, and Joe, to your point, Tampa Bay's power play is rolling, right? They got 10 power play goals, the most out of any team here in the playoffs. They're operating at 25%. They're really cooking. All right, so let's call this game here. I think Florida bounces back. I think that they win. Maybe I'm buying into the must-win situation here today, but on home ice, a team that's been really good on home ice all year, kind of hung around for a little bit. Doesn't look like Braden Point's going to return here. The -165, I mean, it's a little bit of juice here, but I'm gonna lean with the Panthers, Joe. Where are you at? Who do you think wins this game?
You know what? I think the Panthers do win. I'd probably be looking at in regulation if I was going to take a full game bet. But I think there's great value on the Florida Panthers in the first period. We can get them at plus money in that first period at plus 142.
Nice.
We saw them come out strong in the first game, winning the first period. I think they do the same thing in this one.
Yeah, crowd behind them at Sunrise. I like that call as well. You can get them at -110 to win in regulation. I think that's pretty good odds. EY, where are you at? You got to call it, dude. Tampa or Florida? Also, tell us a goal scorer from this game. Unmute your mic first. And there we go.
Thank you.
Got to hear that beautiful voice.
Beautiful. Yeah, I go Florida to win tonight. I think Huberdeau scores. Verhaeghe's feeling it. You can see like there's something different about his play so far in the playoffs. I like him to score as well. And on the Tampa Bay side, I've got Ross Colton and I've got Kucherov.
And Adam Rantcamp's all over Kucherov as well, I guess. Kucherov 2-point night tonight at plus 145 on PointsBet. Yeah, I'd be more willing to take Kucherov to score or to have a 2-point night or to have an assist than the shots. I feel like he still doesn't shoot the puck enough for me. He's always looking to pass it off a little bit. Hedman hit at 2.5. Maybe you can put him into a parlay with this next game that we're going to talk about. It's probably a little bit too much, too juice to get involved. But Stamkos was the guy that hit. He was putting the puck on net quite a bit from a DFS standpoint. Anthony Cirelli, Nick Paul, these guys are fairly cheap. boost in ice time, especially with Cirelli getting up on that top line with no Braden Point, and then Nick Paul playing on that second line as well. Also saw Adam Ratkamp check in with Bennett, minus 145 on home ice. We've talked about just the home and away splits when it comes to Sam Bennett on the road. A pretty good season, but not the same at home, averaging over 4 shots per game on home ice and just over 2 on the road. So I certainly think he is in play, and Barkov as well. And I think maybe potentially Giroux for an assist. What do you guys think about, Joe, 30 you? What do you think about Tampa over 2.5 goals at minus 110? Do you feel like that's an okay number? Is that too much to ask, 3 goals?
You know what? I'm on the edge with that because we know both of these offenses can really light it up, but we have 2 top goalies here. I really am expecting defense to step up. I'm looking at the under 6.5 for this game. So if I'm thinking Tampa is going to come out and get 3, then I'm having to lean on Florida to only get those 2. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning win. And I do think the Florida Panthers step up in this one and get the win. So I would go the under 2.5 of it.
Okay, that's fair. I like it. All right, let's switch over to the other one. It's complete dominant performance from the Colorado Avalanche, but the game went to overtime. Jordan Binnington held his own. He looked really, really good. 51 saves. The Blues didn't even get a shot in overtime. Outshot 13-0. Colorado, of course, heavy favorites here, checking in at almost minus 300 in some spots. You see PointsBet.ca at minus 245 in there. Again, we have the free prop shot parlay calculator over at ftnbets.com to get the best possible odds. You don't got to go searching around. We'll throw to you, Joe. I don't know. It's just... you go ahead, man. I feel like Blues may win a game here, but they were manhandled in game 1.
They were, but you want to know an interesting stat?
I do.
In the last 5 games, the Blues have come off overtime. They've won. So the value here to sprinkle on the Blues on the money line, I can't resist. I'm definitely going to sprinkle on it. I do think it's going to be a tight game. I'm not going to take the Avs on the puck line at minus 1.5. I'd take the St. Louis Blues plus that 1.5. You're still getting value at minus 125. I think what we saw out of Ryan O'Reilly in the last game, we see this Blues team, they can step up. Colorado was just shooting like crazy on Binnington. Binnington faced 54 shots on goal. My worry is that he won't be able to do what he did in the first game, the same sort of performance. And then the Avs will, if he allows more in, cover that puck line. I just don't see the value there taking them on the puck line tonight. I think St. Louis is going to come in strong in this one.
What do you think, EY?
Binnington went unconscious. That's the best that we've seen Jordan Binnington all year. He's been good in the playoffs. He took the crease and hasn't relinquished it. They did not lose the game because of Jordan Binnington. They lost the game because Colorado is a superior team. I do not believe that Jordan Binnington can do that game in and game out. I mean, it just looks like Colorado's on fast forward and the St. Louis Blues are on regular speed. That's what it looks like. Everyone wanted to make fun of me about how bad the Predators played and how they couldn't get out of the first round and they couldn't win a game. I mean, Colorado has been my pick to win the Stanley Cup from the start of the year. I'm not changing it now. St. Louis, I think, will push back, but I think they're going to be lucky to win a game here. That's what I truly believe. I don't like saying 4 because I want to watch as much hockey as possible before it goes away, and I'm sad. But I like Colorado they look insane. They look like the only reason that game was close and went to overtime was Binnington. They were firing the puck. There was like 7 posts, I believe, in that game. They controlled the whole thing, start to finish. It wasn't even close.
I feel like I want to give the Blues a couple, though, in this series. I know it's tough. I mean, the Avs look so awesome. They're great. It feels different this year than in years past when they've been favored in each of the last years to win the Cup, and they haven't been able to get out of the second round. And yeah, I mean, Adam's right. We all know. I mean, the Avs are super, super deep. I mean, what they can do just with their defense alone, there's like 4 or 5 of their skaters. We all know about Cale Makar, but Devon Toews, Samuel Girard, these guys can go end to end, move the puck up with ease, whether it's, the first pass out of their zone or just skating it up. The offense that they create from the back end is absolutely scary. I kind of lean with you, Joe, that the Blues can hang around again. I think they can take something from this game, some sort of confidence. I feel like maybe it's at home in St. Louis where they get 1 or they get 2, but Binnington has been good. Not only was he good in game 1, he was good in the 2 games as well for the Blues when they made that coaching switch. I mean, he's just a couple years removed from winning a Stanley Cup and being a big reason why the Blues won the Cup. Of course, he hasn't been the same goalie this season as you alluded to, EY, but I think there's still an opportunity. Do you feel like this series could go 6, Joe? Is it easy to say that the Avs just probably win in 5?
The Avs could win in 5, but I do think it probably goes 6. I think St. Louis is another underrated team. I think Colorado, of course, walks out of this. I've said that from the start. Colorado and Calgary will face in the next round, which will be a tight battle. But there's something about St. Louis. They need to get those shots on goal. We saw them only with 25 shots on goal in the last game. They scored those 3 goals in it. 3 goals, right? The last game?
Yeah.
Blank. Yeah. And I do think they can come out and get those goals in this one again. So I was looking at their over on on goals tonight. Over 2.5 is -128. I think they come out with 3. It's just going to be all about Binnington and how much he can stand on his head 2 games in a row. So I'm with you there, Eric. It's going to be a hard challenge, but if he's up for it, if he rolls in with momentum, we could see another game where Binnington plays lights out.
I'm looking for a save prop on Binnington. I can't find it. It's super early, but if there's a save prop on Jordan Binnington at 29.5 or 30.5, Joe, I feel like that's something that we should be involved in, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, the only fear is that he lets in 4 or 5 super early and he gets pulled, but I mean, I feel like the Avs are still going to put nearly 40 pucks on net.
Yeah, I can absolutely see it. I'm not seeing anything up either for him yet, but I agree with you. I do think he can come in with some sort of momentum in this. He just played so fantastically. The amount of shots they put on him last game was outstanding for the Colorado Avalanche. So I see them coming in firing again. You know, this is a team that's averaging 4.8 goals in the playoffs here. They are playing phenomenally. And for him to save that many, wow. He's an outstanding goalie.
Yeah, for sure. I love the O'Reilly call. We'll get you out of here in a second, but really like that O'Reilly call is another guy that we've been talking quite a bit. You know, Eric, it's funny. We really weren't into O'Reilly when it came to shot props for the regular season, but there's just certain players around the league that just step up in the playoffs.
Changes into a different player.
Yeah, and he is one of those guys. Here in the postseason, he's been fantastic. Got 6 goals and 9 points. Got 25 shots. He had a goal and 5 shots in game 1. He has cleared his shot prop in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his 7 games, plus money in every one of those games. And the 2 that he didn't, he still found the back of the net in each of those games, and he was stuck on 2. So this guy, I think, that will continue to have some success. And he's got his hands full, EY, because I mean, they'll try to get whatever the matchup they want in Colorado. In St. Louis, they're definitely going to be able to get those matchups and have him up against Nathan MacKinnon. But, man, last night, and I could see it in game 1, I could see it on his face. Trying to chase Nathan MacKinnon around the ice is not
good
fun,
luck.
Dude.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. That's another guy. I mean, he's an awesome player in the regular season, and then somehow he finds this other gear in the playoffs. It's the speed all up and down, even Kubel, JT Comfort, it looks like St. Louis is skating in the mud compared to these guys. Every person on this team can skate. I believe that is by design. You know, Bowen Byron, he could be a number 1 defenseman on a lot of NHL teams, and he barely plays. You know, it's crazy, and he can skate and move the puck. The reality is just too much overall team speed. You know, and O'Reilly's a great player. I love Ryan O'Reilly. Love watching him play. Love who he turns into in the playoffs. But he doesn't have the foot speed to cover MacKinnon. I mean, I don't think anybody does, to be honest.
Nobody does. Yeah, no one does. 98 shot attempts for the Avs at 5-5. The Blues had 41. 39 scoring chances for Colorado. The Blues had 11. The shots were 49-23 at 5-5, and the high danger chances in the slot 16-5. That's courtesy of a natural stat trick. Joe, we'll get you out of here on this. Any final words? Something that you wanted to say that maybe you didn't get the chance? Another pick or two that you have, and also an opportunity to kind of plug your work. You're doing some amazing work We're hockey psychos here on this show. I think we can call you a hockey psycho as well. We're rooting for your Flames, and we do appreciate your time here today.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys as well having me on today. I wanted to just say Ryan O'Reilly, first goal scorer tonight, plus 1,600. He has hit that their last 2 games as an underdog. I could see it. I'm sprinkling on that. Nathan McKinnon, you can get him for first goal scorer too at plus 1,050. So both of those guys, I am sprinkling on tonight. I'm excited for these games, you guys. Appreciate you guys for having me on. If you're looking for me, find me at Jo Madden Sports on all social media.
Love it. Can we just say one thing about McKinnon? I mean, his shot prop's 4.5. And it's at minus 125 is the best price I'm seeing. And this is the first time that I've seen somebody at 5.5 for shot props. 5.5. Unibet has it at plus 120. Nathan McKinnon in 5 games has 56 shot attempts and 37 shots on goal. This guy, Eric, is an absolute psycho.
I mean, this is what happens when you have the puck all the time. Like, and when they don't have it, they just go get it because they're just faster than the other team. I mean, if you watched it, and I know you did, I watched every second of game 1, and it looked unfair. That's what it looked like to me. It looked just like the Predators. It looked unfair. It looked one-sided. They had the puck the entire time. You don't get 90-something shots on net when you don't have the puck. It's really hard to shoot the puck when you don't have it. But if you have it all the time, getting 90 shots, I mean, there's just no way. Binnington, he is a good playoff goalie. He's proven that before. He's one of the biggest reasons they won the Cup. When they did, he turned into this magical playoff performer, and he's going to have to be that every night for them to have a chance. And I don't think they do. If I was going to say any series is going for, it's this one.
Yeah. Hard to argue that, dude. 5 goals in 5 games, 37 shots, 6, 8, 6, 9, and 8 in game 1. The guy has 17 shots in his last 2 games.
Crazy.
I like the 5.5 plus money. I'm fine with the 4.5 and minus 125. I'll just kind of blindly bet that throughout the entire playoffs with the way that guy likes to shoot the puck. Joe at Jo Madden Sports. Thank you so much, Joe, for taking the time. Good luck with all your picks on the ice, and good luck to your Flames.
Thank you. You guys crushed it tonight. Have a good one.
Have a good one. It's Jo Madden there, sports on the Twitter machine. Joe, you can just pop right out. There she goes. And now we can just bash her, right? We can just try. Now she's not here. We can talk behind her backs. Kidding aside, she's fantastic. Good stuff. Give her a follow. We love anybody that's covering the sport from a day-to-day basis and giving NHL picks as we try to grow this sport. And that's hopefully what we continue to do here on Mean Streets. Or on Dangle Bet Celly and Mean Streets. Why not? So I did want to get into a little bit more with these Avs because there was really a lot. Like, they've been kind of moneymakers here for us in the playoffs here, EY. Not just, calling shot props and some goals and stuff like that, but this is what we had in the bet tracker for game 1. We had, let's see, McKinnon shots, which he cleared. McKinnon assist, which he got. Mikko Rantanen assist, which he got. A Gabriel Landeskog assist at plus 130. He had 2 assists. We also had your boy, Valeri Nichushkin, over 2.5 shots. He had 4. He also scored a goal. And we had Devon Taves over 2.5 shots. And that hit at plus money. He's had at least 3 in every single game. On the other side, we had the Oilers, Ryan O'Reilly, to get a point. Ryan O'Reilly over 2.5 shots, which hit. The only thing that didn't hit out of the 9 picks was David Perron. I actually don't have a problem going back to any of that stuff. And I see Rantcap in here. Some pretty good advice when it comes to Kadri and the success that he's had against the Blues. He says Kadri is again plus money for an assist at plus 110. That's another one that we can throw out there. 13 shot attempts in the last game. Now has 13 shots in his last 3 against St. Louis. The biggest thing I think for Kadri, and I'm really going to like him on the road, is that matchup, right? Because Ryan O'Reilly is going to be on McKinnon, and then it's a looser matchup for Nazem Kadri. He's going to get that on home ice, but he's really going to get that in St. Louis on the road as they really get whatever matchup they want for the most part in St. Louis. Like, who are some Avs that kind of check boxes for you? And I know it's your guy, Nichushkin. I mean, you've been riding him for 3 years, dude, and he just looks he just looks phenomenal.
He's an animal. And Nazem Kadri has played some really good hockey. He was all over it, all around it. Bennington, I can think of two saves in that game one where 90% of the time that's in the back of the net, and Kadri's got 2 goals. So I'm absolutely hammering him to score tonight. That's my big bet of the night. I believe he scores. I think Cal McCarr scores. And the odds are good. Like, he doesn't come off the ice. He plays in every situation, and he plays defense, but he's similar to Yossi because of his skating. Like, all of a sudden you're like, is that Cal McCarr behind the net? Like, he had 2 breakaways in the Pred series. Like, he's insane. He's a defenseman. He had 2 breakaways, like clear breakaways. So yeah, he's crazy, man. But I really like Kadri. I like Nichushkin to have a point tonight. I don't know if I'm going to bet him to score, but I do like to bet him to get a point tonight. He's been really good, and pairing him up with Kadri. On the St. Louis side, I think Tarasenko pushes back here. He's the shooter on that team. Everyone knows it. I like him to score. And Kyrou, definitely, when he had the puck, it did seem like St. Louis had something going. And, I mean, the reality is he may be the only player on the Blues that can keep up with their speed.
Yeah, I would agree, right? I mean, I guess if you watch the All-Star comp, you know that he won the fastest skater competition. But looking at the Blues, O'Reilly led the team with 5 shots in all situations. He also had a team-high 6 shot attempts. And then you have Perron, who had the 3 shot attempts with just the 1 shot. But Jordan Kyrou had 3 shots on his 3 attempts as well. Of course, he found the back of the net with Ryan O'Reilly. And that's a plus money play as well. There's really only 2 Blues that I like from the shot prop standpoint. It is Ryan O'Reilly and it is Jordan Kyrou. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, EY, if Vladimir Tarasenko, like, such a quiet game from him, right? 1 shot attempt. And it's 0 shots.
They don't have the puck, right?
Well, that's it.
They don't have the puck, and when they do have the puck, there's 2 Avs on them. They're so fast. They're similar to Calgary, but they have even more, like 4 lines of speed. Every line on the Avalanche can skate. Every single one.
I'm going to nerd out here on you guys for a little bit. Over at Natural Stat Trick, expected goal rate. So Ryan O'Reilly led the Blues at 0.32 expected goals in that game in all strengths, 0.32. The next closest Blue was Barbashev at 0.17. You want to guess how many Avs had at least 0.17 expected goals in game 1?
8.
Wow. You're spot on. 8 is
really
correct, sir.
8. Yeah.
8 is correct. Kadri led the way. He had 14 shot attempts and 5 shots, 0.86. McKinnon, of course, was second with 12 shot attempts and 8 shots, 0.74. Your guy Nichushkin was third. Arturi Lehkonen fourth. Samuel Girard 5. Andre Burakovsky 6. Darren Helm checking in with his 9 minutes of ice time. Had a higher expected goal rate than every Blue besides Ryan O'Reilly. And then, of course, Mikko Rantanen in there as well, who had 8 shot attempts and 4 shots. Yeah, unbelievable, right? Darren Helm, just whatever, our 4th line guy, who also has a ton of speed.
He can skate. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Kyle McCarr played 29 minutes last game. 29 minutes. Raycamp checks in. Justin Falk at 1.5 in a parlay. I think they just need to get pucks towards the net tonight. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I feel like, he's lost that top spot on that first power play, which I don't love. Maybe they can get back to him a little bit, but I think, maybe more shot attempts. But EY, your point is significant. They just don't have the puck, and Colorado seems to have the puck nonstop. So I'm going to just rapid fire through a whole lot here from a prop standpoint. I think we can continue to have some fun in this series. Maybe things get a little bit tighter in the next round, especially if it is Colorado and Calgary. I would expect things to get a little bit tighter. So from a shot prop standpoint, I think we continue to ride this out until, it really does turn to 5.5 across the board. That's Nathan McKinnon at 4.5 shots. You got Nazem Kadri there at plus 135 to have 4 shots. You got Ryan O'Reilly plus 135 to have 3 shots. You got Valery Nichushkin at minus 172.5 as his shot prop. All of those guys I really do like. If I were to rank them, I would go McKinnon, O'Reilly, Nichushkin, And then I'd probably get into Kadri. And then I think, if you wanted, I think Landeskog would be there, but I'd rather just take maybe Landeskog for a point or an assist. You mentioned Nichushkin for a point. Pretty good value for him at minus 149 for Valeri Nichushkin to have a point. Ryan O'Reilly's minus 130 again to have a point. That's another one I'd like to go back to. Nathan McKinnon is plus 155 for a 2-point night here. And where the value has been this year, and we've talked a lot about it, especially here in the playoffs, are these assist props. There's significant value here. We're getting plus money again for Gabriel Landeskog to have an assist at plus 125. Nathan McKinnon is minus 115 for an assist, and your guy Nichushkin is plus 145 for an assist. When he's playing with Rantanen and Makar, you may just fall into assists. And then another one in Kadri, plus 110. There's a lot to like from a point standpoint and an assist standpoint from this game. Let's go back to Florida. And have a little bit of a deeper convo. We have about 6 minutes left in this show here. So Florida and Tampa. Again, this I feel like is a must-win situation for the Panthers.
100%.
But is Tampa in their heads?
Yes.
They might be, man.
Yes. Yes to both. Yes to both.
Yeah.
Look Tampa played it as good as a team can play it. They know they're going to make it into the playoffs. They downshifted into autopilot. They rested some guys. They didn't, put a 100% effort and they conserved. And now we're getting the Tampa Bay Lightning. People can make fun of me and blah, blah, blah. Look at Toronto is one of, if not on paper, one of the best teams in the NHL. And they beat them. If Toronto gets past them, I think it's a pretty clear path to the Stanley Cup. That's what I believe. You're never going to change my mind on that. Tampa Bay controlled the majority of that series. Vasilevsky is still the Conn Smythe winner and one of the best goalies in the league. They have superstars at every position. And then they got guys like Ross Colton, who's all over the puck. Paul, who's all over the puck. Hagel, who's all over the puck. They just pick up these guys. It's insane. It's insane how good this team is. Florida needs to win tonight, and I think they do. I believe that Florida pushes back and wins tonight because they're a great team. Bobrovsky looked pretty good. And as long as they're getting decent goaltending from him, they have a chance. So I think Florida wins tonight. I think it's going to be a deep series. And I just hoping that the game is better. It was pretty one-sided.
Yeah. Surely not Kyle jumps in. I wonder what your real name is. I think what you're saying is pretty much spot on, actually. I thought that Florida started pretty strong. I think, when the puck dropped, I think originally the fans were into it. And, from a shot attempt standpoint, they dominated that. They had 10 shots and 5 against. They had 16 attempts, 9 against. They had 10 scoring chances, 3 against. 5 high danger chances, just 1 against. But they didn't they didn't put a lot of pucks past Vasilevsky. And again, the power play, they are not capitalizing on the man advantage. They are not. You can't be 0 for 21. It's completely mind-boggling to me, man. The firepower that this team has.
It changes though, right?
It did.
This is a betting show. The law of averages says it regresses to the mean. This is a good power play, littered with talented players, goal scorers all over the place. There's no way it stays like this. There's just no way.
Well, if it does, they're bounced, right? Because you got the special teams at this point of the season. It has to be there. It has to be there, this team. To me, I feel like what I said earlier, it's a team that is struggling to shoot the puck, to have the confidence to shoot the puck. I think they need to put pucks on net. It's got to be a greasy little goal. It's got to be a bounce. Teams are just reading those cross-ice passes. Giroux's a pass-first guy. Huberdeau's a pass-first guy. Barkov wants to pass. Reinhart wants to pass. Who wants to shoot the puck on that power play? Somebody has to bear down and shoot the puck on the power play. For Hagee, we'll put him on the first unit then, or put DeClaire back on the first unit. Put a shooter on there. I think they need to split up Giroux or something. Giroux is great. He's phenomenal. I think maybe get away from Giroux You got put Bennett. I agree. He's not afraid to shoot the puck. Put somebody else on that power play who will shoot the puck or get some bodies in front of Vasilevsky and have it. It's got to be like a greasy goal maybe to kind of get them going. A couple minutes here left in the show. I just wanted to get into the shot props that I do like from this game. So Sam Bennett. He's kind of hot and cold in that first round, but again, what applies for Sam Bennett? Home cooking. He's really good on home ice. I don't know what it is with home ice. Maybe a good matchup, maybe the fans. I don't know. Maybe his girlfriend's watching the stands. I have no idea. But on home ice, he shows up. He had a team high 10 shot attempts. He had 4 shots. Barkov had 7 shot attempts. Giroux had 7 shot attempts. Giroux has been plus money in every series here to have 3 shots. It's hit a couple times. It's not the best bet out there. I think it's okay for a single bet. We've seen Giroux kind of when the Panthers are tied in the series or down, maybe shoot the puck a little bit more. I think that that will be the focus for Florida, especially on the PP. I like Bennett, I like Barkov, and I like Giroux. Those are kind of the 3 guys for the Panthers that I do like. For Hagee maybe to hit the score sheet is minus 110 I saw for him to continue to have success here in the playoffs. He's still playing on that top line. He's got 12 points here in the postseason. He's been really good. On the Tampa side of things, it's Stamkos had 7 shot attempts and 5 shots. Hedman had 6 shot attempts and 3 shots. And we do see the hammer in the house, and we do appreciate you, dude, in here. You mentioned Corey Perry, and you and I are in discussion. Great follow on Twitter, by the way, too, and super sharp hockey mind. I believe he had Perry to score in game 1. And what a beautiful pass from Kucherov over to Perry. And, just with point out, Perry gets a little bit more ice time. Maybe it's on PP1, right? Just a little bit more. And this guy has a lot to offer from, in terms of playoff experience as well. Any other final words here on the way out? I guess we're not going to be able to talk about the 2 games tomorrow. Calgary, Edmonton, who wins? Game 2.
Calgary.
Another blowout?
No, I don't think
a little tighter.
Blowout. I think that they push back. I think that Mike Smith doesn't let 2 goals in like a minute and a half into the game, and it makes it more competitive. The reality is like, look, Calgary's a great team. I believe they win this series. But Mike Smith has been pretty good in the playoffs. I mean, we can admit that. And I feel like if they don't score those 2 goals right away, it's a completely different game. And the reality is this, Jo said it when she was on with us, a couple bounces and Edmonton wins that game. Calgary did not play good. I get that they scored all those goals, but they did not play Calgary Flames hockey. And Markstrom didn't play good. I don't think that happens again. I think it'll be closer, but I think Calgary wins that game.
It's amazing the style that could switch, though, with Sutter, right? All right, Dallas, you want to play that way? You're not going to score any goals. Right. We'll play that way as well. Oh, Edmonton, you want to play up and down? Guess what? We can play that way as well. We're not the Flames of old or the Sutter of old with the teams that he had in Edmonton or in LA a couple of years, and then last year, a team not scoring goals. This team can fly up and down the ice and play that style if they want, but I would agree. I think Sutter probably wants to tighten things up just a little bit. Surely not Kyle says Calgary to score 57 goals in game 2. We won't be here with you guys tomorrow, but Mean Streets will be live tomorrow when we breaking down some shot props. We will continue to hammer that top line for Calgary. Maybe we shy away from Evander Kane, but we do like that top line in Calgary. And we'll be out. We'll get out here on this. Sebastian Gordon, always taking Barkov for shots. And then the Verhaeghe shots revenge narrative is super nice as well. Check out FTNBets.com for all the picks. At the Eric Young, at Jo Madden Sports, at Chris Meaney here. Thanks to George for running the show. A shout out to Game Plus Network and PointsBet as well. Do us a solid and smash that like button. Good luck on the ice. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll be with you guys on Tuesday. Cheers.